Not far away from the bounce at the start of the third term here. Sydney Swans 5-3-33, Brisbane 3-3-21. What would have been the straightening up messages for the Brisbane Lions in that quarter, do you think, Jono, at half-time?
I think for Brisbane, they need to get back to what they did in that first quarter, and that was switch the play, but switch it with intensity and a bit of speed. And they went away from that in the second quarter. Sydney were a lot better at closing them up, but that's the thing for me. If Brisbane can get that sort of game going, get to the outside again, then they're a chance. For the Sydney Swans, they need to be more direct, try and get back through the corridor, take a few more risks in their own switch of play as well.
Just got a feeling about Buddy in the second half. He's goalless so far. He's only been goalless once this year. So he'll be keen to get amongst it. And of course, they need to get the ball in his hands. Jetta's one of them. He's pretty good at it normally. That wasn't great from Grundy. Good backup though. Reed. Lloyd. Gets the dance steps on Mays. Bangs it up to half forward. Paperone keeping McVeigh occupied. Takes it over the line.
Interesting that McVeigh is playing in the half-forward line. I thought, given the issues they've had getting the ball out of defence, particularly the kicking accuracy, that maybe he would have ended up being played down there a lot more than he has.
Opposition teams have been restricting him and tagging him. Here's Jetta breaking the line and kicking it to Franklin. He had the handball off. He wants it back. He won't get it yet.
So short.
Goods. Now Buddy's got it. Can he get through? He's been taken down, so he can't get for the next one.
Tippett's moving well, working hard.
Sure for Lloyd, put the little step on. And there is McVeigh.
Works hard, McVeigh. Did about 4 or 5 different leads in, worked the other side of the ground, found the hole, and popped into it, plays on.
Wants to snap, and that's why it's curling nicely.
Great kick.
Nice finish, all class there from McVeigh. I think Jones is the one they've thrown back, Jared, today to maybe give him some experience across half-back. I understand what you're saying in terms of that use that McVeigh can provide coming off half-back. Shaw hasn't used it that well today, and they have missed that from that position of the ground. But look, he's good everywhere, isn't he, really? And it's better there from Shaw. Still missed the target, but it was Lloyd who cleaned it up. McVeigh on the end of it.
A great goal from Jared McVeigh. He can play everywhere. We've seen him dominate the mid. We've seen him a terrific half forward as he's playing today. But he's got great kicking ability across that half-back line. And there's the virtual stat of the disposals.
17 zip.
Well, that's about to change.
It has now.
Lions finally getting their hands on the footy. Beams, who's had another excellent game. His 17th disposal. Wasn't the best of execution. And it's seen over the line safely by Laidler.
1 metre, please, Matthew, when you get there.
18 points the margin. Early stages of the third. Jetta ready to go again. He's given them some dart off half back. He handballed it to no one, really.
Well, there wasn't too much to give it to, so he's trying to bide time and get some support around him.
Knocked off to Christensen, who was beheaded just about by...
Zorko looks sore. He's limping off at the moment. Daniel Rich playing defensively. I liked it in that first quarter as well, Jared, when he was the sweeper as a wingman in behind the stoppage, so they could get it back to him and release.
Let's get down to Moons, because there's a bit happening on the Brisbane bench, but Burke's taken the mark in the meantime.
Well, you just see Zorko, guys. He's in the hands of the doctors. Not quite sure. He's got the limp going. So either his right leg, by the looks of it, just seeing the docs now grabbing into his shin. It's his right shin knee area at the moment, guys.
And Harris Andrews as well, Moons, come off. He's getting some attention also. Another one to keep an eye on.
Darcy Gardner already out of the game.
Yeah, so it's casually toll is mounting for the Brisbane Lions. Burke. A long shot, not too dissimilar to this at the start of the game, and it's a pretty similar result. Falls short. Leuenberger powerful in the air. Christensen couldn't withstand the pressure. Get himself into the clear at least of some sort of shot.
There's a lot of numbers there.
No wonder there's no room to get out. And the calls and the suggestions about extreme measures to open the game up are growing. I suspect will continue to grow if we get this sort of stuff.
Including the nuclear option, Hutto. zones.
Which have been a dirty word up until now.
High ball.
6-3-39 Sydney, Brisbane 3-3-21.
And you see why zones are always going to be on the agenda if the scoring continues to plummet as it has again this year.
Laidler, that was smart by hand, out to Goods. Scrambling a kick, downfield. Let the pressure off. It's downfield, not play on.
You got the kick, downfield. You got the free. You got the free.
He's got the players lined up across the defensive line, and they'll switch it and get it across. Rampy's the one down the line. He gets it. He's now got to find a target. And they're working hard in attack to provide that target.
Jack made him an offer in the middle, but he's more aggressive than that with his intentions. Down the line to Towers. He needed the bounce. He gets it. McVeigh. We've shown his ability already in this quarter to kick brilliantly, and there it is again.
Starting to open up now for Sydney. They took it from one end of the ground to the other. They were better at running through the transition, and despite Towers' handball went to ground, the pressure was just not there, and it won't be like that when they're playing better opposition. That's why the line coaches will be saying to Towers, that handball has got to hit the target.
It amazes me they don't switch it more often, Sydney, because look at what they can produce when they get it to the outside. They've got some power runners.
Robinson comes in. It's too right.
He hasn't finished the work there, but it's a lot more fluent for Sydney as a side, and they've got class up front. They've got class in the midfield. So therefore, if they get it out and they switch the play more often, it's going to bring those players well into it. It's going to allow good space for the forwards to lead into.
Rampy was onto that. Sorry, Jared, got the fist in, but the Lions able to get it out.
It was very much that style of play, Jono, where they were confidently switching the ball last year, that saw them go into the grand final as short prize favourites.
Zorko back out there again, which is great news, and they feed it through and back into his hands. Dane Zorko, a wave of the wand, and there's another goal.
Well, a two-goal whack, an easy shot at goal at one end of the ground goes missing, and then the magician comes onto the ground. They wave a bit of magic powder on that shin, and he's straight back into it.
Nothing wrong with the shin, Jared. You look at the run here.
Good hands from Christensen.
He's off there, stays involved. Redden with great overlap run from behind. And then Zorko. Excellent finish.
Yeah, guys, it was that right knee that he was getting tested and looked at on the boundary line here. Got the OK, came straight on. God, you love seeing. We talked about him at the start of the game about being that barometer for the team. Already 3 goals. Harris Andrews also, Hutto, back on the ground.
All right, that's good news on a couple of fronts for Brisbane. Jack did well. Jetta, he's really threatening in this quarter. Whizzing through. Handball to Jones. Gets it as quick as he can. Into the 50. Enter Buddy Franklin. Good stuff by Clark. Got the defiant fist onto it. Got it to ground. And forces the ball up.
Sydney have the ability to make the grand final this year, no question. I think they need to kick 16+ goals, Hutto, to take it out this year. So that's why that switch of play before is so important to their style, which Jared mentioned. Because they're not going to get a high-scoring game like that in a GF. I can't see them controlling the game.
You had Rampy sitting back as a spare. No point having a spare if you just get kicked around. He had to come up a bit quicker than that.
Buick laying the challenge down now. Beautifully drilled it into the 50. Defensive effort was pretty good, and the Swans are going to dodge one here.
You've got the numbers coming to the other side of the ground as well.
Parker. Boundary umpire was on the spot. That's the bad news being delivered to Tom Mitchell. Bit of a conference.
Plenty of encouragement from the local crowd.
Laidler's come in. Good work by Laidler then, because Pierce Hanley knew the space was there. He was looking to get on quickly so he could run around.
Hard to kick it across the body from that far out. But he's done it! In game 100, or has he?
Yeah, Jared's calling touch next to me here. It looked like McVeigh did get a hand on it.
Well, certainly touch. Question of whether it was over the line, as you said, John. We're about to find out.
He thinks it's a goal, the umpire.
Well, that always helps.
So there's a touch on it. Is it?
Where?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? The goal umpire seems to be just past the line there.
So it's hard for him to see.
So
and I don't think we have the goal camera at this ground. Yeah, we don't have goalpost cam here, so...
Umpire's call.
And that's a goal.
Well, they're getting value for money on the rebound. Now the Brisbane Lions. Here's the kick out of bounds. And I think that one looked more over the line than the goal one did, but nevertheless, you get value for money if you keep on having a crack.
They're happy. Christensen knew it was a goal from that angle. He was pretty confident.
Wine supporters thought it was a goal from the back pocket, Johnny. Let alone the players, and they're back in touch, giving themselves a chance.
Look, plumb LB from square leg too, Jono. Out of the middle, it's going to be back to be recalled. 7 points the difference. 6-4-40 to 5-3-33.
Been a good 5 minutes for the Lions.
Yes, yeah, after Sydney kicked the first one, umpire's down. Fights on.
Back this way.
Robert Finlay. Kennedy.
Straight extraction.
Rockcliffe up back the other way though. It's high into the 50. Swans defence on the job. Laidler was provided the footy and some instructions. Get it back to Zach Jones. McVeigh gave him an immediate target. He's very frustrated, McVeigh, that he wasn't kicked to.
Oh, jump way too early. Goods. Timing's well out.
Turned out okay for them. Courtesy of Lloyd and Hanbury and Goods. Back into the middle they find themselves with Parker. And he gave to Shaw. He wasn't entirely ready for it. Shaped the kick for Tippett. Just tucked out the back, and Merritt will try and work this towards the line. Didn't get enough of it. Spinning was Josh Kennedy on the ground. Interesting call.
Don't go forward, Josh.
Rockcliffe.
Play on.
Josh Kennedy continues to argue as the footy moves out of there.
If the matchups arise, great mark by Buick. I'd nearly give Merritt, who's starting to battle a little bit in terms of his fitness defensively, I'd nearly throw him forward for 10 minutes, see if he can pinch 1 or 2 goals as well, especially with the flow of play in their way at the moment. Brisbane.
Just losing a bit of a grip here, the Swans.
John Longmire didn't even have the hand over his mouth that time. He was just, I'm not going to say anything. And Christensen had some handy things this quarter. His 5th disposal coming up. It'll be an important one. Into the 50. It was weighted superbly.
That's 50. That's 50 metres. Clear mark, knocked out of his hands by Jones.
Dane Beams can run this one through. It'll be their 3rd consecutive goal, and it'll be a 1-point ball game at the Gabba.
And here come the Lions, Jono.
Great response, Jared. And that's all you can ask. Justin Leppage will be very, very pleased with the way that they've presented themselves in this 3rd quarter. They started the first couple of minutes very slow. Hands in the back, just held on there. In the end, taken the mark, paid the mark against Nick Smith, and there's the 50 by Jones coming over the back. But since about the first couple of minutes of this quarter, they've taken control.
Well, the challenge has been laid down, and it's a question of how long they can keep up this pressure. The Brisbane Lions have shown great form for the last couple of weeks, really competitive, have fallen at the last hurdle, but tonight on their home dome, Hill, they're every chance to really have a huge upset if they keep this one going.
I'm glad you finished off there.
Incorrect disposal. Finish.
More advantage paid. McVeigh chopped and changed his mind and kicked beautifully. No, it's against Towers.
It's against Kennedy. The push on Christensen, just as he was turning to, as the ball was going over their heads.
That's it, Mike, just there.
Goes to Leuenberger.
Forward, please.
Conservative approach on the way out. Christensen running to be the next cog. And just hangs on. Wants to give. Paparone.
Well,
guiding
they're
it
working
okay.
harder than the Swans at the moment.
Zorko used his presence to make the great escape himself. Into the 50, a weighted kick. Adcock, who's adding a bit of grunt to that forward 50, forces the ball up.
Well, it's just unresisted running from the back line. Swans weren't running with them. And the line's showing them how to do it at the moment.
McVeigh. Finally, the kick by Jones gets out in the Tippett direction. Paparone did everything but mark it. Leuenberger for Beams. Back for Paparone. That's not far.
That's it,
Sorry, that is far enough.
It is just far enough, but they've got the switch on here. Sam Mays is out as well with the overlap.
Justin Clark stealing himself to get the kick in deep and put the pressure on the Swans defence. Sam Reid stands up, needed to. This Sydney team has looked vulnerable at times this year, and their defence is under siege right now. Missing Ted Richards. They stood up last week when they needed to, but can they do it again? Daniel Rich, we know he has the powerful left boot, decided to share it around, might have wished his time again. Now the Swans can come away with it. Grundy just wading through the options, and really he might want to wade through a few more.
The big issue for the Swans is that their forward line just not functioning. Clark has seen off Buddy at the present time. He's on the boundary having a bit of a rest, but he's goalless.
Your forward can't function, Jared, if you're using the ball like that coming out defensively.
Buick spinning. Christensen. The recruits are doing some damage. Burke. Open goal. Jed Adcock will enjoy that one. Brisbane back in front.
A lesson in work rate right now from this young Brisbane Lions side. Net leaders are showing the way at the present time. The Swans making all sorts of mistakes. Maybe they thought they had this one sewn up at half-time with the lead they had. But it's been Brisbane that has charged back. And they are now setting down a major challenge.
Well, they've done well, haven't they? Christensen handball coming back into the corridor opened up that opportunity for Adcock.
Here's our live ladder, and the 4 points that are so valuable. If they elude Sydney, it means that, of course, Hawthorn, who have had that win today, will go past them.
She's a ferocious in the middle right now, and another good exit.
Kick went into the 50. It's going to come out. Rampy bangs it up to the wing. Tom Mitchell secures it.
Hanbury in the middle. It's a good kick.
But he's ducked out the back, but Hanbury goes short.
McVeigh wanted the handball. In the end, got in his way because Hanbury just didn't release with a quick handball. Would have put McVeigh nearly breaking 50. That was the play.
Play on.
From the last line. Again, a cautious approach. Paparone. Got something in his line of sight, and that's something with Buick. Gee, toiled hard to get there, didn't he? Dragged it down impressively. Rowan Buick came on early as the sub for the injured Darcy Gardner. Now they're stretching out again. Pierce Hanley. To Beams. Jetta there to bring him down, and the ball. Mitchell to Goods. Now Franklin in front, but worked out of it by Merritt. And snaffled nicely at the back by Hanley.
That's why you keep him down there, John. I'm not with you on that. Just anchor him to the goal square.
Yes.
He used his body and just got Buddy Franklin, just nudged him up under the ball. He's scratching his head. He's trying to find a solution.
So Buddy playing deep at the moment. When he's there, Daniel Merritt to deal with.
1 metre.
Well, obviously, he's a match for him physically, even if he will have a hard time if Buddy gets out and about. Leuenberger down for Redden to Hanley, who seems everywhere at the moment. Shaw nervous with Taylor. Louis has a rest.
We talked about the uncontested possessions, how the Swans totally dominated in the second term. Well, they've equalised that. They've had a lot more of the ball, the Brisbane Lions.
Sydney kicking the opening goal of the quarter. Since then, it's been all Brisbane, and this man has been creating a lot of it. Christensen delivers perfectly into the 50. Brent Staker.
It was just the eyes of Staker, I reckon, then, Jared, because Grundy had gone. He thought the ball was going to go long. Staker caught the eyes of Christensen. Great little hit up.
So big quarter, as I said, Alan Christensen, 9 disposals, 3 inside 50s. I think probably the most damaging he's produced this year for his new club. And hasn't it been timely? This man, Brent Staker, who's had such a long journey, such an injury-interrupted time, particularly at Brisbane. He's 31 years of age. He's the oldest player for the Brisbane Lions who's out there. And his kick is just a fraction wide.
Jesus, good off the boot, just drifted.
That's it, Jordan. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, we've got to do something about the runners around the competition at the moment as well, Jared. Watching both runners closely tonight, they just hang around.
Yep.
You see them in the middle of the ground now, just
too much game time.
They're not doing anything. Go get your message, get off the ground, only because it's so congested already.
Yep.
The game is congested. Add a couple more in there and just stand around and do nothing.
Well, I think
We've got to do something. We've got to do something about it across the entire comp. Get on, get off. You shouldn't be out there for 1 to 2 minutes. You should be out there for minute maximum. Get out, get your message, and get it done. Get back off the ground.
Well, maybe there might need to be more rules to restrict their movement, Jono.
Well, they're just working really hard here, the Brisbane Lions.
Just get on and off.
They're restricting the Swans getting the ball inside forward 50.
Rampy held up, as Jared said. No fluency at all. Challenging for the Swans to think through this, to execute, to have the intensity they need. Adam Goods, 6 minutes 30 remaining in the quarter. Swans on the back foot. It's all staccato stuff. They need a big leap, and it's a big jump.
Yeah, get everything far. Bring it to ground. Certainly controlled it for a sec.
He's asking for a mark. What do you reckon?
If he was at the MCG the other night, he might have been okay.
Boundary throw in. No shortage of ruckman there. Luke Parker got it down. McVeigh, look at that from Adam Goods. Left the ball in his wake, and he's kicked it behind.
Jared, I know they need Tippett in the ruck for most of this game, or a lot of this game, but for me, he's the one that looks likely to take the big grab inside 50. Buddy just looks out of sorts at the moment. I'd like to see Buddy up the ground, just try and get the ball up through the middle of the ground and pump it into actual Tippett 35 metres out.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the solution, but I think the biggest worry they've got, Moons, is their ball movement. It's just not coming in with any real fluency whatsoever. I think the Lions have done a great job in holding them up, restricting the flow and getting numbers down there when the Swans have it inside their forward 50.
The Moons, Harry Cunningham's warming up. We can see him in the reflection there of the glass behind or in front of John Longmire. Do you think he'll be thinking about maybe changing them structurally?
Well, you know, he's got some pace through the middle of the ground, and as Jared just said, that's where they're really struggling, trying to get that ball movement through there. He's a guy that can do that. But look, in all honesty, Hutto, he's been warming up since the game started.
Old school, run in front of the coach's box, make him see you.
Not sure it has any impact whatsoever.
None.
Staker kicks very wide. And Swans appealing for out on the full.
There's a bit of a spark, Cunningham. He's got some genuine speed, knows where the goals are.
How would you change it,
They'd be
Jono?
thinking about it, wouldn't they?
Like for like, or would you take a tall off?
Towers hasn't done too much in today's game, so him or Robinson will probably be the likely substitutes.
Pierce, arms down.
It's amazing our forward line with Goods and Franklin and Tippett. Jared McVeigh. Could be 6 goals at this time and halfway through the third quarter of the match.
Only kicked 16 plus goals 3 times this year, Sydney. So they regularly get around 10, 12, 14 goals. That's about the mark. But I think they need to find, as I said before, another 3 or 4 goals to get that up to the 16s, 17s come finals time, especially come grand final day if they make it to the big show.
Thanks, Pierce.
It seems a long way off for them at the moment, doesn't it?
Back this way.
Hawthorn's big win today will no doubt have them as most people's fancy for the flag. Spinning through Zorko. Again, so creative. Staker's growing in confidence all the time.
And just missing another opportunity, but the electricity around the ball movement, around the stoppage.
It's a great step, Jared.
It is brilliant footy at the present time. Zorko
There it
is
is,
just
look at
such a talented player. You'd love him at your club.
Down the line. There's a good mark to
He heard you, Jenna.
build the case. So don't take me off yet from Towers. Off to Jack. Bit of a standoff. He kicks it wide. Franklin, can he be the spark? Not yet.
Oh, well done, Merritt. No need to worry anyway with the Sydney players because they're not getting too many messages out there at the moment.
Another shallow throw in. Burke got there with a slap away. Brisbane just had so many more numbers at the fall of the ball, though.
Yeah, they're working much harder than the Swans at the moment.
Rampy keeps it in. Uses Hanbury and his left foot. More central kick. Franklin fighting for it deep. It got through to Buddy. Through the cracks, and Franklin kicks his first. And what a time for it.
Well, coaches get really frustrated as Buddy Franklin finally breaks his duck. But we had an incident on the boundary line right in front of us, Jono, where Rampy was right under pressure, and yet the Lions had an opportunity to kill it, and they didn't. And this is the outcome. Good kick from Hanbury, basically just to a dangerous spot. You see both defenders wrapping up their forwards, but the extra strength of Buddy got rid of Merritt, and it bounced nicely for him.
Merritt was actually in a reasonable position there defensively. Just tried to swing the arm at it with a backhander and missed it.
Franklin wins the battle of strength, and scores are now tied up at the Gabba. Pike in combat with Leuenberger. Redden. Oh, they overrun it. Big Mike. Redden goes in again. Ball darting around. Good follow-up from Kennedy. Jack, you heard the call, so Paparone fends it down. Louis Taylor comes flying through. Nice little handball ace. Sets Taylor away. Arching the back as he covers the wing. And Sydney had the resources there to utilise, and they do. Laidler.
Yeah, brilliant reading by Grundy again. Under pressure, though. They're working really hard.
They push the line there with the level of danger. Kick the centre half forward. Oh. Could have just about left a divot there as he went thumping into the ground. Franklin wants it one-on-one with Justin Clark in the pocket. Now's your time, buddy. Oh, he couldn't hang on to it. Enter Josh Kennedy with a left foot curler. Goods knows it's gone over his head, trying to get back on desperately. Andrews, it's a free kick.
Well, it was an opportunity missed. Goods had some separation. Kennedy didn't hit him up.
They've played the advantage. I'm not sure there was much there for them in the end.
Big tackle from Smith. You're right, they need to be smarter with the... There's Goods into the back of Andrews. Got to be smart with you taking the advantage.
Brisbane have kicked 4 goals to 2 for the quarter. Scores are level. Adam Goods, you can see the intensity of the Sydney leaders. Just jumped up in the last few minutes. And here's one of them now. Hanbury to the square, over Tippett's head. Brisbane
All clear.
not taking any chances there, Sam Mays.
Keep going.
Through for a minor. Enough to give the Swans back the lead.
Clark's strength one-on-one with Buddy before. That was
impressive.
Very impressive. Front position. Buddy had him under the armpit where you can usually move your opponent out of the way. I think it would have surprised Buddy how strong he's been in the contest.
Maybe Buddy should trial him out, taking him up to the wing and back a couple of times.
Rampy to Mitchell. We see them again. Clark with the first and the second, but
he's done that
Franklin took care of him that time. And he's starting to wind it up now, buddy. This for his second. Remember, this will take him to 697 goals if he can kick straight.
Well, it's a good kick from Tom Mitchell, just kicking it to the advantage of Franklin.
Good first hit that time by Buddy.
Yeah, got him off the line, didn't he?
Rather than
Couldn't
just hold
re-establish his base.
Yep.
Better than 50-50 chance from here. Straight through. Straight through, and the Swans lead is back to 7.
That's the smarts of the champions, Jeddah. When you look at that, he hasn't been able to handle Clark when they've just been one-on-one in the wrestle. Get some separation, put some good physical body on him first, instead of just trying to wrestle and get him under it, and then controls the flight of the ball. Clark loses him, loses the flight of the ball, and Buddy just nails it.
So 2 and a couple of minutes to Buddy Franklin.
Margin 7, things hotting up at the Gabba. Game's opening up. Inside 50s have, in the last 10 minutes, been in favour of the Swans. Skew with bounce.
Luke Parker's having his best term for numbers at least, along with Tom Mitchell with 9 possessions. But it's really the work rate over all of the Swans that I think will be questioned by John Longmire. Much better in the last couple of minutes.
No escape for Dane Beams.
Boys, you need Mike, move a metre, please.
Been strong on that this afternoon. The umps, which has been good.
Holding, Brisbane.
Oh, it's a Brisbane free to Staker, or Adcock, in fact.
No, it is Staker, is it? Staker was the one in the contest, so it must have been the hold behind, Hutto.
Yep. The umpire called Adcock.
I was watching Grundy v Staker.
Yep. That was a 50-50 battle.
It was.
Was surprised if there was a free kick there, but didn't see the Adcock one.
15 gone,
So Adcock has just added a bit of experience and grunt to this forward half, lining up for his second goal, and his second goal of the quarter. Jed Adcock needs to kick the steadier. And you can hear by the silence that that's missed a lot. And he is a very frustrated man.
Come back. Alan.
Former skipper.
Alan, here.
That's the free
Don't go
there.
through the point,
Behind.
above the boundary line.
Yes, against Nick Smith.
Play on.
Pike coming from the side, not quite sticky enough.
Kennedy fired one through. And then to Mitchell, who knew he was going to be tackled. So probably was pretty smart play by Tom Mitchell. Handy work by the Swans. Exemplary in really tight spaces. Parker, now I think he's gone. Umpire saying he didn't do enough. Luke Parker.
Good tackle from the skipper.
So Rockcliffe, a huge line of players between him and the sticks. So he goes short to Robertson. It's a gradual build-up here. Dane Beams. Onto the left. Buick with the hand up. Grundy knew they were coming for him.
Wasn't a dangerous spot for mine. The Lions have got a strength in their crumbing capacity.
Yep.
And that one really just closed off the ability to get their crummers to all run to the dangerous spot.
No room here to do much unless you are the magician. And Dane Zorko was able to make the great little Houdini and get out of there, but the handball missed the target. Intriguing quarter of football. Momentum swinging viciously one way, then the other. At the end of it, Brisbane have outscored Sydney by 5 points, and they're 7 points in arrears at the last change. Big last quarter ahead.
It's third man up.
Well, this has become a bit too familiar for Sydney and John Longmire's liking. Over the past month, they've been challenged regularly. A couple of weeks ago against Richmond, the Tigers finished all over them. Last week, though, they steeled themselves. They'd lost a couple of players, and they had a terrific win over Port Adelaide. Being challenged again by the Brisbane Lions. It was a response by the Swans. They kicked the last 2 goals of that quarter and had the lead at the last turn. But it's only by 7 points.
It's anybody's game, this one, Hutto. They are desperate, the Brisbane Lions. They haven't had a win at home for a long time. John, haven't had a win for a long time. So there's an opportunity for them now, but they're up against formidable opposition.
Last couple of games for the Lions, they've been right in at three-quarter time just to fade in that last quarter against the better sides in the comp. So this is a big challenge for them.
It is, but it's a different team they've got in today. Let's head down to Moons. What do you reckon, big fella?
Oh, look, you're spot on. They faded a couple of weeks ago against Adelaide here at home when they played so brilliantly well. Hopefully for their sake they don't do that again. But for Sydney's sakes, guys, you look at the live ladder at the moment and they need this win desperately to jump ahead of Hawthorn. They don't want to look at Richmond and Bulldogs just sitting in behind them right now. They win this, they go into that third spot, and you look at who they've got over the next 4 weeks, and probably the next 2 weeks in particular. I mean, Hawthorn at home and then West Coast over there in Perth. These are the massive, massive games coming up to two of the best clubs in the competition. They need this win, but absolutely they need this win, guys.
You're spot on, Cameron. Hawthorn and West Coast, Adelaide, Geelong, that's a really tough month. And they've got a tough 30 minutes ahead of themselves. They have orchestrated the swap and they have gone structural. Mike Pike is wearing the red vest and they get more run out there, and that's what they've been missing, particularly fluid run and connection from the back half.
I think you'll see a lot of third man up then in this last quarter from Sydney, with Tippett in there. If he has to rest, then whoever engages comes up, maybe a read, then you'll see a lot of the midfielders trying to get up, get the ball out into open space.
He didn't like the red vest, Pikey. He's gone for the red jacket instead. Last quarter, 8 goals, 6 Sydney, 7 goals, 5 the Brisbane Lions. And Tippett, as we said, will carry the rucking load for the last term. Hanbury. Jack, it's a promising start. Franklin at the back in the hustle and the bustle. Couldn't take the mark. Sprightly Clark goes out it, leaving Franklin on his own out to the side of the pack. If it happens to come that way, which it does, and he's got it! He's got it! Oh, buddy! Beautiful stuff!
What about the bounce, Jared?
I thought only Zorko could do that in this ground, but Buddy's found some magic, and Justin Leppich cannot believe it. It's just been flicked out, and then Buddy has just put some absolute gold dust on that.
Look at that. He would have known too. This is the chance right there. Fair bounce. A bit of luck associated with that, but Buddy delivers more often than not.
I swear, guys, there's only 2 players in the history of our game who gets that bounce. It's Gary Ablett Sr. and this man right there on screen.
Well, they got the centre clearance, and that's what orchestrated that opportunity. Tippett's been given the responsibility, but again, it's been Hanbury that gets the first possession.
High ball, inside again. Again, Franklin ready to put a big tackle on. And just giving away the free, being a little bit over-anxious. Rich. The counter from the Lions. Oh, no synchronisation there between the 2 Lions players on what they were doing.
Substitute alert, Sydney, player in at number 7.
Franklin up to 698 goals.
Out 38.
It's confirmation of that sub for the Swans. There's Buddy closing in on 700. McVeigh. Rockcliffe.
High ball. Go easy. Matt Lundberger, give it a metre, please. Out here.
Franklin in 9 seasons at Sydney, kicked 580 goals. Oh, big good lead from Parker. And he's all on his own, buddy. Oh, he didn't see him. He's chipped it across in between 2 Swans players. Franklin comes for it now. Paddles it back. Cunningham, the sub. They really made a bit of a meal of that, the Swans.
Well, on the back of that Parker grab, there was a goal begging.
Ball chip wide. And Cunningham gives it to Rampy. Goods in his sights, but Merritt was ready for that. That's another pretty ordinary kick from a Swans defender. But the tackling gets them back in the ballpark. Daniel Robinson.
Tippett calling for it long.
Sets it high. Everyone can run and jump. Tippett looked commanding in the air. Had a couple of cracks at it. Beams on guard. Back on that last line. Robertson, will they dare here? They need to show initiative and aggression. Not a lot on the radar for him, and he was hunted down.
Great chase.
That is why he's captain. He went straight past Buddy Franklin, who wasn't interested in doing any of the chasing, and Kieran Jack has set the standard again.
It was a brilliant chase. Robertson was out. He burst out of there. He got 5 or 6 metres on everyone standing still.
He went for something pretty cute there with Adam Goods.
Yeah, low percentage stuff. Here's the rundown and tackle, and in the end it was incorrect disposal. Great chase by the skipper. He's got under that one again, the boundary umpire.
Little handball, Hanbury. Beams was onto that though. Scramble out of there.
Yeah, good shepherding, good body work.
Laidler, Rampy. It's on the Swans' terms at the moment, but their disposal needs to be clean. Grundy. A little chip and charge now. Hanbury though goes on his own steam along to Franklin. Parker beat him to it. Goods wind up the pressure.
Clark was under the heat. He knew that he'd sort of just dropped the ball, but he was claiming that he had nothing to do with it.
Bodies going down all over the place. Cunningham wraps up Zorko.
Interesting that Parker's backing himself in. He's around Buddy Franklin and Kurt Tippett, and yet he was the one with Hurst hands on the ball.
Kennedy, well done Zorko. 2 big efforts there for his team. The first one failed, the second one didn't. Defying the Swans and their big names, and hard for the umpire to see what on earth's happening in there. There's that many bodies.
Well, the counter-attack is the big concern for the Swans, but they've got 2 back. Nick Smith is about 20 metres off the pack and probably gets involved here.
So the quick kick comes. Adcock, full-bodied effort. Zach Jones will wind up, though. Bang it up to full forward. He's almost got it, Frank. That's a great spoil. Justin Clark.
There was Adcock just rubbing his head, as you can see why. Big hit on the ground.
Got effort by Nick Smith as well. Who went back with the flight of the ball. 2 good players going hard at it.
Daniel Rich brings his kicking prowess into play. Not handled though. McVeigh got out of the first one. Sleight of hand for Kennedy. Chopped off by big Roger Merritt. Got in the road. Poked a little kick. And the handball is affected nicely. Rich took it from Taylor. Zorko out wide where he's got some mates. Robertson bangs it up to the out number, and Rampy spilled it.
Just relaxed on it, Rampy.
And this was an apology. It's another angle of the Adcock crash.
1 metre, Matthew!
Again, the snatch was impressive from Zorko. Beams. And they provide some offensive threat of their own here, the Lions. Beams certainly hope so. Oh, Adcock, the target missed. Kick came in from Paparone and he's handed it back. 14 points still the margin. Still some uncertainty about the Swans, though.
That's it, Daniel! Oh, Daniel!
Robinson.
That's yours.
Game number 4 for the Sydney Swans.
That's it,
Franklin's
Justin.
come a long way up to collect. Goes for Goods. Engaged the body at the right time. Breaks away from Andrews. Kennedy's in the goal square. Goods not looking for him. He instead goes by hand to Towers, who chips it nowhere.
One-on-one battles, they're critical in the way the game's played today. Numbers, a lot of numbers around everywhere, but if you can get out to open space and then win that critical one-on-one, it really does open things up for you as a side. Adam Goods was brilliant on that occasion.
And didn't press up too hard there, the Swans, which has allowed them to find 2 targets and get back into counter-attack mode.
Zorko prepared to do whatever it takes to get it through the middle. Into a dangerous attacking position. And there was some real danger attached to that, but they've got it safely out this side to Mays. They kept on bustling through the middle. Zorko misses Christensen. He's going to keep going with it here. Ran into a few obstacles on the way. He got down, he got up again, he gets that down and draws the free, which was a little bit questionable.
I thought he was going to have to go off the ground there because Rampy closed him up.
Let's have a look.
See here, gets away again.
Daniel, out there, please.
Oh, no. That looks okay. It looks like a great tackle from Rampy. He should be shaking his head.
Well, he's pretty good at getting those frees on Christensen. And it's worked well for his team here. This is a crucial shot for goal. Sydney have had most of the momentum in this quarter. 14 disposals. Oh, that's a hole.
He's working his way into probably the best form he's had for the Brisbane Lions over the last few weeks. That one hurt.
9 disposals, about 2/3 of all. That's it's 2/3 of the way through the third quarter for that team.
Outside. Mark's here. That's okay, Mark's right here.
They've been quiet for a little while now. Taylor pops it in. Good read from Smith. Still up for grabs, though, for the Lions.
Jeez, that one looked a bit
And the
high.
second one.
He's had it spinning up and down and around.
He had his chance.
Yeah, he did.
He's had to pay the price. The Swans are paying the price, though, for, again, you mentioned it earlier, Jono, just inaccurate kicking coming out of defence. There was no pressure there from the full-back line.
Burke's clean punch went straight down to Laidler. Andrews had an early look at that one. And he takes the mark. Despite the presence of Adam Goods. Into Maves. Bit of pointing going on. Rich was there for him short. Not anymore.
Well read.
Trying to set Buick up for a grab, but Nick Smith knew exactly what was about to unfold. Maps out a plan, but doesn't execute it.
Wow, we've got a lot of work to do, the Swannies. The defenders have got a lot of work to do in the way they're using the football. And it's not just today. We've seen patches of it over the entire season.
Hudson stands at 14. Lions close. Redden. Zorko is ready. He still is. And that's just pitched over the line.
Tip and Grundy will go long here, Jared. Surely he's been told just get it long down the line, out of play.
But not too close to the line.
Set up again, exactly right.
But you're spot on, Jono. It has been an issue for them. You know, highly decorated players who are seemingly just losing a little bit of confidence with their disposal.
Reed, make sure that one goes over the boundary line. Sydney have laid 10 tackles to 3 in this final term. Had a little bit more of the footy, but haven't been able to convert. That was good hands in a tight situation. They got themselves into the clear and able to kick up to the wing. To nudge underneath it from Robinson. Kieran Jack and Taylor dueling it out at ground level. And it crept over the boundary line. A few pleas for it being on the full, but not so.
Hanbury's worked hard in this term. He got involved in those first couple of goals for the Swans at the clearances.
Interesting kick. Pierce Hanley. Oh, Nick Smith had marked that one probably 98 times out of 100. And that was one of the two.
On the charge here.
They are. What can they do with it, though? They had to hit and hope somewhat there, Mays. Into the 50. They're outnumbered. And the boundary line was the target for McStay. And as it turned out, it was for Laidler as well, who actually could have picked it up and got out of there.
Yeah, I think he's pretty happy to get the stoppage, which...
Oh, I think they are, because what it creates is this now. We create so many numbers. It's so difficult for...
But they had a 2-on-1.
Yeah, for Sydney to make it easier, make it more difficult for Brisbane to score.
Close to a couple of too highs. A fumble from Laidler. He recovered well, though. Pats it out. Ace dismissed with. Mays was scrambling for it. Adcock's there as well. It ends up being the umpire's ball. Just 9 goals to 7 in this game. And we're almost down to the last 10 minutes of actual playing time. Parker knew he had the responsibility to get it out. Aish can't do that. Holding the ball.
Well, the umpire gave him a couple of goes. He had one arm free, then...
But I still think he was trying. There was one earlier where at least he's trying. He didn't really have a prior op. At least he was trying to get it out.
Now they're on the move again. Franklin. And the boundary line too close. Even for Buddy.
And the multitudes come to the ball again. Every player within a kick of the ball.
Kennedy tried to get it to Mitchell. He wasn't quite on the same plane as him there. And Louis Taylor goes to work. Clark gave it to Mays. Just in the nick of time. Nothing for him. Oh, he had that sinking feeling as the ball goes over to Franklin. He keeps it in. Big Buddy, he goes all the way back.
Creative.
Into Shaw and now to Grundy. Well, they've conceded about 80 metres to set up a chance. And Kurt Tippett in the box seat. He got him where he wanted him. And Tippett takes the mark. Now it's about conversion.
Well, that's a good forward setup when you get Kurt Tippett isolated. on a player that is much bigger than and arguably a lot stronger than, and we just saw that. That's a better kick from Nick Smith. Not perfect, but certainly one to Swans' advantage.
So Tippett lining them up here. The Swans have kicked the only goal of the quarter. Tippett's kicked 2 goals straight. This is a big moment for him and the Swans. He's nursed it a bit, but it's there. He's pretty happy with it too.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's been under a bit of heat, Kurt Tippett, and I think he's having one of his better games for the year for mine. Jono, he's been really good as a ruckman and gone forward.
You see
Here's the one-on-one from the Comcam.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Great vision. It's exactly what we look at. And you just see the isolation there, one-on-one. They've won some big one-on-ones in this quarter, which has really helped them set up this 20-point lead.
Margin 20 now for the Swans. It's getting tough for Brisbane.
And this will be a real mental test for the Swans, whether or not they put the cue on the rack and allow Brisbane just a couple of easy minutes, in which case they'll kick a couple of goals.
Parker's kick shut down. Here comes Adam Goods, flashing through the screen, kicking it quickly out. Lloyd can poke it to the 50. Another promising build-up. The left foot, the natural kick into the pocket from Mitchell to Buddy. Was he interfered with? No is the call. Merritt, can they get out of dodge? Looks like they will. Little kick from Rockcliffe back to the wing is okay to Zorko. Suddenly defence can become attack. Staker, it's one-on-one ahead of him. Does he set the challenge for his teammate Hanley? He does.
By Hanley.
Takes the mark, turns into the 50. The clap of the hands on the central kick. Too high over the back of McStay. They keep on going. Beams gives it everything to the square. But back goes Reid. Fortifies their defence, getting back on the last line. Short kick to Lloyd. And it looks as if the Swans might be able to get out of here okay. Back to Smith.
Thanks, Jordan. Yours.
Now up to the wing. They all fall down, except Andrews. Now he goes too. He might get pinged for it. Bang.
No genuine attempt. Let's go through. Harris, let him get the ball go. You've got to make a genuine attempt there, mate.
Harris is not happy.
Which doesn't mean you've got to do, it means you've got to do more than just pretend you're about to handle it. Got to get it out.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this and whether or not it's a free kick.
That's a free kick, isn't
I
it?
would have paid that as a free kick.
Yeah.
In a marking contest when he's not looking at the ball.
Good point, Hutto. It's usually the trigger for the umps as well, isn't it?
It is. A great learning experience for Justin Clark today, though, it's been, hasn't it?
It has.
Play on Buddy. Getting them every week at the moment. He had Pav last week.
All right, Sydney. Got him in the fake. No, Josh.
Instantly, Tippett wants to hand it off to Jetta. Oh. And clean up the act now. Jetta gets a bit closer to goal. And Franklin's in the right position this time, but he drops the mark. He did all the preparatory work. And could have taken the chest mark there, but no. Still just worried him a bit, didn't he, Merritt, with a hand, but boy.
That's it there.
Margin sits at 21 for the Swans. Delta little kicking.
Out behind. Play on.
Zorko trying to generate something out of defence again.
They need one here, the Lions. They need to generate. The last 2 push forwards have been great from this part of the ground.
Clark's got off and about. Kicks them inside 50. Shaw's going to try and restrict Buick. Does he get up? No.
I thought same as you, Hutto, get up and go. He's obviously a little bit sore or tired after a big run.
It's going to be a tough kick from here.
He's a pretty talented player, this kid. He's every chance to nail this.
Jordan.
Good transition by the by the Brisbane Lions. Clark working really hard to get himself into attack.
15 going, Ron.
So Rowan Buick, he started the day as the sub. He's gone goalless so far. This is a huge challenge for a left footer. He's given it a chance. Stays the wrong side.
Another chance. It's a pretty good option normally to take these kick-ins. He's going to a one-on-one to his skipper.
Yeah, the size advantage with McVeigh. Don't say that too often, but he certainly had it over Lewis Jetta. Franklin summed up the options, decided to go by foot dangerously into the middle, and there's Lions players everywhere. Only one forward of the ball though in a marking position. Comes off hands of McStay. This is Christensen, held at bay and had to go by foot. Couldn't manufacture it. We know that Zorko will do his best, but it's over the line. He was trying to create a free kick out of all that, Zorko. Henry little ant there for a moment.
Yeah, he was. He's had a good game though, Dane Zorko. 30 disposals, 3 goals. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's had a hell of a day. Buddy Franklin's kick lacked understanding. It was really just a critical time. He had options down the line and he's tried to pinpoint a miraculous kick.
It was an interesting throw-in. That was one of the flattest throws.
Yeah, it looked like the umpire had lost a bit of confidence, needed to get it deeper, and he went very flat.
They've had 4 against them this quarter now, the Brisbane Lions holding the ball like that.
Well, there's a little dangerous kick, but for Swans fans, it ends okay. A handball from Laidler over the top. Franklin trapped on his left side. They know he can't go the other way. So he had the handball back to Grundy. They've been locked away here in the back pocket. Laidler eventually has the freedom. Kick up high. Robinson Merritt will come in and crush that. Crushing an aluminium can. He just comes over the top.
Yeah, Moons was pretty happy with that. A little applause there, Moons.
Oh, he's been very good today, Sauce, hasn't he? He's been strong down there. He's had great leadership. The way he's attacked the ball on the ground and in the air, he has been brilliant for his younger guys to come out and play well today.
Barker, that snappy work again by the Lions. Jetta, interesting handball. Well, the umpire says it is a throw. Ball get there for Tom Rockcliffe.
Yes.
Won't be credited by the stats men.
Well, I'd be pleased to get Tom Rockcliffe back in. He's had a pretty serviceable game as the skipper.
He's ventured very wide there in search of Alan Christensen. That's out on the full. And it hurts a bit more for Alan Christensen because not only the pain of hitting the turf, but also the ball back in the hands of the Swans. Crowd of just under 17,000 at the Gabba. Lions have been competitive again. Kurt Tippett starting to find his range. And they might go with him in the ruck more and more as the season goes on. Justin Clark is still not happy. If Cunningham a look here. Let's see what the Swans can create. Buddy's tucked out the back. Wants it long. One-on-one with Merritt. Franklin from behind. He's got Merritt in the right spot. And he's given away the free.
Yes.
So he's still a chance of 700 if he can kick this goal. This is for his 4th.
580 he kicks with Hawthorn. He's up to 118 with the Sydney Swans.
In 35 games, 118 goals.
Good return.
9 seasons with the Hawks. Buddy Franklin for 699. Jolts across and hits the post. Oh no. For a moment I thought he was going to have another look at it. Well, Daniel Rich is paralysed there. With no options.
He tripped him.
Some pretty tired boys out there now. The Swans leading by 21.
Yeah, they've done the job now, the Sydney Swans. It's just a question of whether they finish it off or concede a couple. Pressed up pretty hard in this last quarter.
Cunningham, Beams, Hanley, Rockcliffe. Looking for an escape route. Good attention paid there by Grundy. Just got the fist on, did the discipline thing. Sent it back over the line and out of bounds. leaves it behind. Christensen using what was on offer. Rockcliffe up to meet it. Burke looks a likely type, still a fair way off it, obviously, in terms of experience.
Good pressure from behind there from Sydney. Locked it off. They had a 2-on-1, so they were reluctant to kick the ball long, Brisbane, and the pressure had to come from behind.
How will Justin Leppich analyse this one, do you think?
I think a bit like last week. Lots of credits, but no 4 points.
Swans had the numbers and the experience and the strength out the back. Shaw went short to McVeigh. There's plenty of guards out to stop it getting to Franklin. So no real hurry or no way of moving it forward quickly. Adam Goods has worked hard here to provide that link. Still as he looks up, Franklin has about 4 Brisbane players just all around him, totally surrounded. So can't kick it to Buddy. Instead just eases it into the pocket. And Merritt knew what was going on, and he gets a left fisted.
16 touches for Adam Goods. Hasn't been his most devastating game, but he's
flashed in and out of it.
He has flashed in. He's been important. He's been involved in some of the goals.
Hasn't kicked a goal himself. 6 score involvements. Rockcliffe decided to challenge young Burke, but didn't get the bounce to accommodate. Grundy back to Jones. He's worked hard, and he has Reid on offer. The umpire says, no, that's not far enough. So Reid switches back to Rampy. He can go short to Jack or longer. That's a more creative kick. Ambitious, but you could see why, because there's so much space around Lloyd. Stand start. High ball. Buddy flies high, can't mark. Just not to be, I don't think, Buddy. Parker goes all the way back to Nick Smith, who's too far out to score. McVeigh was deep, but instead he goes out wide of the pocket. Parker didn't quite know where the ball was in the end. And the Lions maybe can find a path out of there. A bit more of the short stuff. We're down to the last 50 seconds.
They've got the spares in defence, the Swans, so there's extra players around the ball for the Lions, but not this time on a turnover.
Toying around. Franklin gives it to Goods. A little bit laconic from the Swans, and no free kick paid there on the impact of the marking contest.
He wanted it back there, buddy. I was just laughing at Merritt there, the way he tried to disguise that going over the line, which was quite funny. You look here. Oh. That's hilarious.
Well, given the state of the game.
That's okay.
And given the fact that he only had one thing in mind, he should have just pinged him, Jono.
Yes, you reckon?
10-10, plays 7-7. Franklin with 3 goals. We've seen that before from Kennedy. Coming through and tip it, a beautiful little tap to
just a lazy 40 today for Kennedy. He was in first quarter when they were under the pump. It was Kennedy, the only one really finding enough footy to keep Sydney in some sort of touch with Brisbane, who were on fire early in this game.
He's been deficient defensively, though, hasn't he? Just laid 9 tackles.
Thank you. Straight up. Thanks, Dane.
So we look forward now to Hawthorn versus Sydney.
Ooh. Wow.
What a game that round 16 holds for us.
At the moment, Hawthorn with their big win today over Fremantle, I think will be most people's favourite, but we know when the Swans play Hawthorn, anything can happen, including a smashing that we saw in the grand final. But earlier this year, the Swans, despite Franklin not kicking a goal, got home. Today won't go down as one of their memorable wins, but nonetheless, it's another 4 points for the Sydney Swans, and they stay on target for a top 4 or even top 2 result come the end of the season. It's Sydney 10-10-70, Brisbane 7-7-49.
Well, the Swans got the 4 points. They got Kurt Tippett back in some pretty good form as well. Probably half a dozen other positives. Thought Buddy Franklin did what he had to do. He wasn't 100% engaged in the contest for most of the game, but it was great for Daniel Merritt to come back into the side. They look a hell of a lot better side when he's in. Pierce Hanley was one of their best. Celebrated his 100th game. A fantastic story of a sportsman who took up the challenge. Took him a while by his own recognition to fully embrace that challenge, but he's a hell of a player now. And the Brisbane Lions, a bit more of the same, unfortunately, for them. Really impressive in defeat, but you don't get to celebrate defeats.
No, you certainly don't. But for Sydney, Josh Kennedy, we just mentioned him before, the 40. Dan Hanbury worked through the game quite solidly. Lloyd performed very well with the 24 disposals, was lively all across the ground. Rampy, I thought, set things up pretty well. He positioned John Longmire positioned him well, which was great. They've just got a bit of work to do with their kicking and a few things like that over the next month or so of footy leading into what will be another big final series. Cameron Mooney.
Josh, you were just saying it was a tough game, but just one you just need to bank the 4 points in the end.
Yeah, they really took it to us, and it was a challenging game, but we knew that the last quarters, the last couple of weeks, they've dropped off a bit, and we wanted to increase our intensity, and we paid off in the end.
Talking about Brisbane before, I mean, they really jumped you at the start. Their run and carry was brilliant through the middle. They used the ball well through the middle, so they really took it up to you.
Yeah, we knew that they were going to do that. We wanted to stop it, but they got it going, and momentum's a funny thing, and we're able to sort of wrestle it back in that second quarter, and then start of the third, they got it back. But, you know, it was a real game of momentum, and we finished on top, which is good.
We're lucky we get to watch yourself run around through this midfield, and you must wonder just who you've got around you at times, just think how good is this Hanbury and Jack and these kind of guys. Just we're all brilliant today.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. I mean, you mentioned Hannah's pre-game, the year he has had, and obviously Kizza Parksy, you know, just keeps getting better and better, and spent a fair bit of time up forward today, which was good. So really good sharing the load, and obviously Tommy Mitchell too coming in there and playing a big role too, which is great.
Big week next week against the old side. Are we looking forward to that one?
Yeah, we've got a big week next week back in Sydney, and then off to Perth. So big couple of weeks, and hopefully just rest and recover now, and bring our best next Saturday night.
Josh, you were brilliant today, mate. Well done. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate. Good on you, mate.
Big fella. Mate, fantastic game, mate. 3 goals. So you must have been wrapped with that after having a week off.
Yeah, it was a tough game. We knew that they were going to come out and play some good football, and they did. They played some super football, and probably took us to the last quarter to come out and sort of win. What would we win by 4 goals in the end, or three or four goals? So got a little bit of work to do, I think. We've got Hawks next week, which is going to be a big game for us, and there's a tough couple of weeks coming ahead. So we'll have to regroup and then go from there.
You're a bit of a genius, bud, because you know you've got 700 coming up. The Hawks next week. Surely you're just thinking to yourself, "Oh, I'm just going to hold it off till then."
We'll just have to wait and see what happens, mate.
What about Sauce Merritt today? I mean, you two had some big battles over the years. He's a big, strong bugger, isn't he?
He is. He's bloody hard to move. I thought I had him a couple of times, but fortunately I wasn't able to mark the ball. So just got to keep working on that at training and hopefully get better at it.
Your eyes must light up, buddy, with this midfield that you do have. I know you had a great midfield back at Hawthorn. You've got another great midfield here.
Yeah, definitely. Hannah, they're all good. Hannah's, Josh Kennedy, they're all great midfielders. And the supply coming in, it's coming in very nice. So it's working well at the moment. But as I said, we've got a lot of improvement to make going towards finals. But yeah, we're just going to keep training hard and playing hard and see how we go from there.
All right, buddy. Congratulations, mate. Good luck next week. I get that 700, mate.
Appreciate it.
Yes, no goals in the first half for Buddy. But he produced 3 in the second and could easily have ended up with the 5 he needed for 700. It just didn't quite happen for him.
Yeah.
No, it didn't happen for you either, Hutto. Bad luck. But look, I thought Buddy had an okay game. I don't think his work rate was anywhere near it was when he's absolutely at his best. He wasn't charging up and back and creating space and making blokes work to their athletic extremes, but he got, as he always does, he got half a dozen opportunities and 3 of them came his way. It was a bit stiff with a couple of decisions, but I reckon there's a lot better games in Buddy Franklin, particularly in defence as well.
The amount of numbers around the ball, I think, too, is affecting the way that it's going forward. Then, because it's a rush kick out first, then you might win the one-on-one, and then as a forward, you've got to judge the next movement from that point rather than being able to judge it from the exact stoppage. I thought Kieran Jack was very good today as well. Only had 20 disposals, Kieran Jack, and he only kicked it at 30% with his 10 kicks. But the tackles he did, the chase down tackles, very, very strong in turning the ball over for Sydney today, which had a huge say, and a couple of those resulted in goals for the Swannies.
A couple of other players, I thought some positives. I thought Sam Reid played pretty well in defence. I know John Longmire had a chat to him at 3/4 time. I'm not sure that was anything negative. He was pretty secure and pretty creative, didn't make any mistakes that came to my attention. But Zach Jones as well is another one they've introduced there. He's a workaholic and pretty much like his brother, he's got a pretty hard head and he uses it pretty often.
do have some issues, don't they, with their ball use out of defence. But let's stay with them for the song. The Swans by 21. So the Sydney Swans pick up another valuable 4 points and they get ready for the Hawks next week.